Titanfall 2 is a game unlike any other that literally reshaped the gaming world after its release, despite its untimely release sandwiched between two gaming Goliaths. The fast-paced wall running, mixed with abilities, at the time created a unique game that in my opinion is one of the best, but I'm not really here to talk about pilots. Since that is only half the story, I'll be talking about Titans. Titans are giant mechanized machines that are slower but pack a larger punch, and just like pilots have varied abilities. I'll be looking at these Titans, assessing their strengths, weaknesses, and giving them a ranking on their general play. Starting off with Ronin, the Titan that I have the most time using. Ronin is a close quarters Titan that relies on hit and run as his strategy, being able to unload entire mags into his enemy before ducking back around a corner or phasing away from danger. His high mobility, in my opinion, raises his skill ceiling significantly, since if you play Ronin well, you can make the enemy's life a living hell, dancing back and forth without a care in the world. However, compared to other Titans, Ronin has a lower amount of HP, meaning that even small amounts of damage, when out of position, can quickly get him low, which is what makes the aforementioned hit and run important. His arc wave, in my opinion, is an underrated ability, giving him time to slow and disorientate enemies while you reposition or run on them. Ronin has a phenomenal Titan in a 1v1 situation, since his high damage and high mobility are just what he needs to be able to win. But anything more than a 1v1 and he'll get folded almost instantly. Ronin's power varies hugely on the skill of the player, but in general, I'd put him in A tier. Legion, the polar opposite of Ronin, the walking minigun. Legion was my main back in 2016 when I used to play on PS4, simply because he had a lot of health and he was an obstacle for most other Titans to have to deal with. With his alternate firing modes, Legion has immense area denial, since he can outrange most Titans, minus Northstar, with the long-ranged option. He has a little shield on the end of his gun, blocking his weak points when you activate it, and he has a supercharged burst, doing high damage, especially when hitting critical areas. However, due to his lack of mobility, if he gets ganged up on, he usually crumbles. He can, however, usually do a good chunk of damage before he dies, since he has so much HP that a lot of the time he just keeps shooting. But once again, however, a lot of the time he's not even lucky enough to get a kill without getting bursted down, before he can even rev up his gun. Because of this lack of mobility, but, good area denial, I'll put him below B tier. Then we have the Energy Titan. Ion's kit is good. More than just good, it's great in the right hands. His laser does incredible damage mixed with the fact that it's hit scan, while most other Titan weapons are not, since it wouldn't really be balanced. But this hit scan laser can basically one-shot pilots, and if you hit critical areas on Titans, it does major damage. His splitting rifle, when splitting, does high damage. However, there's a lot of conditions to Ion. A good Ion player will be constantly managing his energy consumption in their head, since most things that Ion does drains an energy meter. He has a tripwire that's really good at stopping and rushing down Ronin in their tracks, but the thing is, it's very noticeable and very easy to destroy, which, to me, doesn't make it worth the high energy it requires to deploy. It does a boatload of damage, but the only time you ever really get value is when I'm playing as a pilot and I accidentally run into it, thinking it's my teammates. So when the only time an ability gets value is because I'm an incredibly stupid player, I don't think it's a good ability. His vortex shield is good, but for the most part people just don't shoot into it when he's holding it up, meaning it's only really good for single burst high damage moments since once again it drains energy, meaning he can't use other abilities. Ion can be absolutely insane, just the vast majority of people playing him aren't, due to their high skill floor and about average skill ceiling, so I'll put them in mild B tier. Monarch is a joke, but in a good way. Monarch is the only Titan in Titanfall 2 that is actually a DLC Titan. However, this DLC came out so long ago and everybody has really moved on from it, people don't even realise. She is insane, and I hate it. Monarch plays differently from other Titans due to the fact that you don't really have to make judgment calls with her, since all of her abilities all of the time just make sense to use and just smack. This is most evident with her cores, and the big suck laser thing. Her cores give a full bar of shield, which is effectively one temporary bar of HP along with a buff to her kit. She gets 3 of these cores and then she's maxed out. Each core she gets gives more buffs, making her stronger and stronger. With her ability to just delete shields, she's hard to kill. She's tanky, and once she gets her first core, a menace to kill with her high damage upgraded weapons. She's a friendly kind of thing to new players because once again there's no decision making because popping a core is always the right choice when you get it. So easily and reluctantly she is S tier. Tone. If you've ever been involved in the Titanfall 2 community for a decent time, I'm sure you're aware of the fact that everybody complains about Tone due to the fact that she is overpowered and in quotation marks. However, she really isn't. She used to be good, yes, she used to be incredibly good. However, these days she is this kind of duality I find. Tone has a large ass shield where she can sit behind it and easily shoot people since it's a 1-way barrier. It takes 3 hits for her rocket salvo to lock on, which she shoots, and a burst of rockets will do a decent chunk of damage. Her projectiles are still good at killing pilots, and if I'm not mistaken, she's still able to kill ones that are rodeoing her if she simply looks at a wall and shoots it if you're rodeoing. However, this shield isn't invulnerable, and it means that you have to play around the shield. If she gets flanked, then she has to turn around, where she'll get absolutely stomped by the initial person who is now flanking her. If she plays to her strengths, she can do incredibly well. Her long range capacity means that she can outdo most other Titans. However, these days most players realise that and just don't stand in front of something that's shooting at them that they can't shoot back. This means most of the time people ignore a Tone, which can either be, "That's a police car," "No, sorry." This means most of the time people just ignore Tone, which can be fine or incredibly boring to play with. So I put her B tier, because she can be good, however in most cases there's some way to counter her or just straight up ignore her abilities. Scorch. An area denial machine. If you thought that Legion was good at area denial, then you've never met Scorch. Scorch has high area damage with his thermite launcher, along with gas canisters, which if placed correctly and timed correctly, give you the highest ability burst damage in the game, I believe. His damage is immense. His only downside is his viability at range. He shoots heavy arcing projectiles. He can fire at range, but simply because of the travel time it takes, you see the projectile and you simply just walk to the side, so it isn't an issue. He gets decimated by Titans like Tone and Northstar, however he bodies anybody that gets close to him. Arguably his strongest and scariest ability is his thermite shield, blocking all damage that hits it, and does immense damage to anybody caught in it. If Ronin rushes him down, then Scorch will most likely pummel him to the ground with his shield if they don't have dashes to escape, since anything that they shoot will get destroyed by his shield when they're taking constant fire damage. Scorch is dangerous. His core is one of the simplest and most effective at crowd control and single target kills. He thrives in close quarters. His only downside is his range. He easily gets A tier in my eyes. He's better than Legion. Northstar. The flying sniper, the true long-range Titan, the only one that is solely made for long distance. Her abilities revolve around keeping distance and limiting enemy Titan movement so that they aren't in their effective range, while she can easily snipe them before they can even get close. Landing a fully charged shot on a critical point of an enemy Titan will lead to a full tick of health being lost in an instant. This dangerous lethality is scary, and if you've seen a fully charged Northstar, most likely you're going to try want to run away. However, if you are able to get close, and I mean really close effectively, Northstar is screwed. Her incredibly low HP mixed with the fact that her main movement option makes her an easy, stable, predictable target to hit for a few seconds. It isn't great. She has insane damage, but has to keep enemies at a distance. I've had games where I've gotten absolutely rolled and games where I roll simply because they can't reach me. Northstar and Ronin, I would argue, are the most dependent on who's playing them. So I put Northstar a low A or a high B. And that's the end. Thank you so much for sticking all the way around, it really means a bunch. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, consider subscribing, because ever since I was a child, I was left out on the street by my pet dog. And that is why you should subscribe. Thank you. Have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.